Well, I'm gonna bring this up again
Mm-hmm.
and help make it make sense. And I'm being very serious when I ask this question.
Okay.
Why? And I'm shifting gears back to college.
Yep.
Why don't we have football only conferences in Division One?
Still, it's still, well, the pundits would say we're still academic institutions. And at the end of the day, we don't want to give an impression that we're either uh, which by the way, I believe they are, running farm systems for professional leagues, or B, separating themselves and to classes, the elite, the haves versus the have-nots, or C, I'll stop at B. I'll leave that there. But yeah, that's why. That's why.
Because football makes the world go round. College sports will. What in sports, college and pro.
Yep.
We're living in a fantasy land.
Yep.
I don't
Still, you know,
go ahead.
it's no. It's still academia. That would be the response. We're academia. We're academic. Fine. We're academic. Well, see, Freudian slip, but it is a financial institution. But I digress. It's academia. We're academic institutions of higher learning.
And
So
they would say that, and my response to that would be, then why do you have your volleyball team, your hockey team, your tennis team, your softball team, your baseball team, track and field, anybody other than football, really, because basketball does as well, travel so many miles across the country to compete in athletics and then have to get back to school for the academics? That doesn't make sense to what they would say is the reason for no football only conferences. Football, the game is one game a week. Okay, they could, for Saturday games specifically, leave Friday morning, fly. You're gonna fly. Obviously, you're gonna fly wherever
sure.
you got to go. You're gonna fly
Yep.
and get to your destination for your game on Saturday.
They do. Yep.
You have football only conferences. You have regional conferences for every other, all the other sports, even basketball. The money, well, I mean, you might want to put in writing, but if the football team makes all the money, I still think some of that money would go to the university, right? Would not be all of it, but some of it, and to the other teams as well on campus. But if you do that, you could have some money, media for basketball, a media rights deal for the other teams. And it'd be easier for fans to travel to the basketball games if they're in regionalized Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, if they're California, Washington, Oregon, if they're close, if they're within driving distance, for the student assets as well as the fans. It doesn't make sense to me when you have USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. You got Rutgers in the Big Ten. You got UCF in Orlando going to be in the Big 12. West Virginia, and nobody else in the Big 12 near West Virginia. Nobody.
Nope.
Cincinnati will be. But, folks, I think more and more fans should start asking that question. Why don't we have football only conferences? Because, Will, you cover sports. There are like examples, like HCU. Their soccer team is not in the Southland Conference, for example. They're in another conference for soccer because it's not offered in the Southland, as an example. So
Nope.
it is done.
Notre Dame is in Big Ten in the Big Ten conference for men's hockey.
Yes. And
Notre
in
Dame.
other sports in the ACC.
Yeah. Right.
And independent for football.
Yep.
So it can be done. Uh, you know, I maybe at some point in the future because we're on the fast track anyway to two conferences for football, Big Ten and SEC. And when you get into the point of 20 team conferences, that's not a conference, Will.
Yep.
That's two conferences put together. That's what
Oh,
that is.
right.
20 team conference. Come on, man. That's a super conference, but
Yeah.
it's two conferences put together.
And you're still playing non-conference games in the 20
Yes.
conference, right? Yeah.
So that means half the conference you're not going to play.
Right.
So that's not a conference then. That's two conferences put together.
Right.
It's media driven. Yes, I know that. Will knows that. Tony knows that. Let's call a buck. Just make it football only conferences. I'm not saying don't go to class. You can still go to class, football players, if you want to. I mean, that's up to you with all the bells and whistles you get for the money that you generate. But the other sports, they do exist as well.